to Africa, and I lived there for 3 years, and I went to the tip of Africa and looked at the ocean.
Greetings, nerds! I'm Glitch, here with Cakey, and today we're playing Death Run, which is like our most popular series. You guys have really been showing a lot of support, so thank you for that.
And show some more support if you want more Death Run, because obviously you guys have been watching it a lot, so we're doing it more. So just
share with your friends or whatever you want to do to get it.
Just do whatever you want to do to help show the support for the series and just our channel in general. So if you don't know what Death Run is, it's basically, how do you not know what Death Run is? Like, come on, that's like half of our content. But
Be new to the channel.
okay, so it's basically there are deaths and there are runners, and the deaths are trying to spring traps on the people, on the runners who are running through a parkour course, and the deaths are just trying to kill as many people as possible, while the runners are trying to get to the end the fastest and not die in the process. So yeah, that's pretty simple, and we will see you guys when the round starts.
We are back. By the way, Cakey's a little bit sick, so there's gonna be a lot of coughing.
A little bit. I'm coughing up a lung. Okay, so how to interesting content.
You can go tell your story you were trying to before
recording cut. We've tried to record this literally 5 times.
One time I accidentally deleted the recording, and the other time my recording crashed on us.
Yeah. So, my story that I've been wanting to tell, I've been watching a lot of Dan and Phil lately. Y'all know who they are. Don't lie. I saw a video, from Dan where he was talking about a psychotic French teacher who went, by the title Doctor, and he was one of those people that, hated when people called them anything other than doctors. If you, weren't thinking and called them, Mr. or Mrs. or something, he would, fry you alive. And that reminded me of the time I had a teacher like that, and Glitch had her too, but had a highly different experience with the teacher.
I just avoided saying.
And the teacher liked you. She hated me with a burning, fiery passion. So basically, when I was in elementary school, there were 3 different classes, and that apart from the main classes like math and all that, that you have to take, and basically, you're just talking over me.
Okay, sorry.
So basically, there was gym, art, and music, and they would rotate day to day. They would rotate day to day. Okay, so if you were in 4th or 5th grade, you could join orchestra or band, and if you joined orchestra or band, then you would miss some of the days occasionally, and what extra class you missed would vary depending on the way that it rotated. So half the time I would miss the general music class, and she was the general music teacher, and the band kids had a full-time teacher, so every time there was a general music class, they had band class, but we didn't have a full-time orchestra teacher, so half the time, so we couldn't miss her class every time. So she hated the orchestra kids because we would miss her class a lot, and then she'd have to repeat herself or whatever, and she hated us for it, which is weird considering we were literally pursuing a musical career. Okay, and she hated us for it, and she had a very, very long, complicated name, and I'm not gonna tell you it, cause internet. And but basically, it was this really long, hard to pronounce name, and you had her every year from when you started going to the elementary school to up through 5th grade. So it's when you're in kindergarten, and you're trying to say this. Oh yeah, that's true. If you're in 1st grade and you're trying to pronounce this chick's name, it's hard enough just trying to pronounce her name, and then without having to remember to add the word doctor before it. But if you called her anything other than doctor, she would get really, really pissed off and, like, yell at you and basically bite your head off. And, like I said, she hated me in particular, and I think the main reason she hated me was because I hated her in her class, so I never tried.
I just ended up avoiding saying her name and all.
I just hated her. She was just a terrible person. But, and then, by the time Glitch joined band, she was the band teacher. So she just loved the band kids, but she hated the orchestra kids. So it was just like, I basically just had a really crappy experience with her. And then, the worst part was that it's like, she was like really cocky about being a doctor. Like, she would always be like, like somebody would say like something like, one of like they'd be from a different school and like she'd say something, they'd be like, my other teacher told me something other than that. She'd be like, well, you other teacher's stupid because I'm a doctor and I went to like 50 million years of schooling, and we were all just kind of like chill. But she was like so defensive and proud of her title, but it was like, she was an elementary school general music teacher. Why was she so proud about having to go through extra time, extra money, so much extra effort to get her doctors, only to end up teaching a bunch of 4th graders how to play the recorder?
Which you could do with like a freaking master's degree.
I doubt you even need a teaching degree to do that.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you do.
I know, but it's like, you don't need a doctor's degree to do that. If I was a doctor and I did all that, like, to become a doctor, and that's what I ended up doing, I would be ashamed. Because if you're a doctor, at least you don't teach a really easy mandatory general music class. You teach like something that actually like matters, and definitely not at an elementary school, like maybe
like a middle school or high school where the students choose to be in that class.
Yeah, and they like care. But, like, it just boggled my mind, because I was like, why do you expect a bunch of, like, little 6-year-olds to know how to pronounce your name and remember to say doctor every time? And she was kind of old, too. I'm surprised she wasn't those people where, she wasn't one of those teachers where if you were like, can I go to the bathroom, they'd be like, I don't know, I never watched you. Like, why do they say that? That's just creepy. Why would they be like...
She was one of those teachers, was she not?
I don't remember her ever saying that. I remember, I had a long-term sub in, like, 5th grade, and she did that. Like, literally, like...
Those teachers are the worst. Like,
the only thing I liked about that teacher was how she wrote her W's, because she wrote her W's, like, really cool, and then I ended up writing my W's like she did. Now I write my W's and they're all, like, wiggly.
No, I don't...
Like, you know how most people draw the W's and they're, like, pointed at the bottom?
Oh,
you know how mine are rounded?
Yeah.
I started doing that because she wrote her W's rounded and I thought it looked really cool, and then I started doing it. That's the only thing I got out of her teaching experience, because, okay, she lived in Africa for a couple of years.
It was her?
Yeah.
Freaking that chick?
Yeah, she lived in Africa.
Annoying human on the face of this earth.
She lived in Africa for like 3 years, and I learned nothing from her teaching experience because every single time she would try and teach something, she would relate it to her time in Africa.
Which of course no one else could relate to.
Like, we were learning about recycling, and she would be like, yes, you see, you can do all sorts of things to recycle. Like, look at this bag. It's made out of recycled material. Now, when I was in Africa, I went to this one point. It was like the lowest point in Africa, and on one side there was one ocean, and on the other side was the other. And obviously, that's very, very relevant to what I was talking about. Now, we were all just like, what the actual
one time
crap?
She was a substitute in like language arts, and we always, in elementary school they were actually nice and gave you time to like silently read whatever book you wanted. Oh, I mean, I'm like a gigantic book nerd, so if you interrupt my reading, I will probably complicate how there are different ways to kill you. but so instead of like us letting us actually read our books, you go on about her time in Africa. It's like, okay, as much as Africa sounds like a cool place and how much I love different countries, I don't freaking care about you 3-year vacation to Africa.
And it wasn't she wasn't even talking about like the culture and stuff. She was talking about the culture and like stuff and like cool stuff, I would probably not care. But no, she never talked about that. She would just be like, I went to Africa and I lived there for 3 years and I went to the tip of Africa and looked at the ocean. And that's like the only thing she'd ever talked about. Or she'd be like, I lived in a house that didn't have any air conditioning. And I'd be like, great, good for you. So does like everyone in the UK. You're not cool.
Like,
no pun intended. Ha ha. Ha ha. Subscribe.
Everyone literally in the entire school hated us.
Actually some chick like really loved her. She was like, she's like the best teacher ever, and I almost punched that chick out. But anyway, guys, this became a interesting commentary. If you like the commentary, make sure to leave a like and a comment and a subscribe, and make sure to just support the series, support our channel, and do all that stuff. And just tell us what games you want to play next. You want us to play next. Just give us suggestions, and we'll do them. So bye.